Hello viewers, welcome to our program on immigration and legal affairs. I am your immigration attorney Michael Fulwani, and once again we have with us attorney David Nachman. David, welcome.
Hi Michael.
Now, we did a very nice program last time, and we got few questions from people also, and some of these questions may relate also in some way to the subject, the topics that we are talking about. For example, getting information through the FOIA and all that. But before we talk about that, just a couple of very quick announcements that there is a luncheon seminar organized by GOPIO on Sunday, June 24th at 12:30 p.m. at the Guru Palace in New Brunswick. All that information is shown on the screen. If you are interested, you can contact the persons that the names are mentioned on the screen. You can always contact me, you can always David. I'll be more than happy to provide you information or the TV Asia. And this is going to be a very, very important, very interesting program. It will be a whole panel of so many lawyers talking about US immigration, Canadian immigration, answering all your questions. So you will find it very, very valuable, and you can have a nice brunch as well.
Exactly, Michael, and I think it's really important to let our viewers know that this is a very unique opportunity for them to get some free legal advice. Maybe not free, they have to pay $25 for a nice brunch, but if they think about it that they're paying for the food and not the legal advice, then it's free legal advice.
Well, I just have a little caveat on the free legal advice. In these seminars, we try to generally talk about general topics and some specific quick information, because the reason I'm bringing this in, that in some of the seminars, people brought a whole file with them like this. So the moment the questions time came in, they bring a whole file, and they say, these are all my papers, and I want you to review them and give you your opinion. Now, that's a kind of legal advice that is not for the seminars.
Right, that would be more for an initial consultation, and they obviously are free to call you and to set up a meeting to see you, right?
Plus there's a confidentiality there. I mean, in the mic, 200 people, we don't want to talk about your prior deportation and things like that.
Right, we want it to be discreet.
Exactly.
And Michael, you brought up a really good point. When we were in India a couple of weeks ago, we did a great seminar for the Indo-American Society there, and we were very, very lucky because there was an officer from the U.S. Department of State who attended that seminar.
An American consulate.
And he was, American consulate officer, and he was tremendously helpful in guiding some of the people, some of the attendees. Obviously, we don't know that that's going to happen at the GOPIO seminar, but it's possible that it might.
It's always possible. But we have brought the district director of the Immigration Service on this TV Asia, and they have been very, very cooperative. The CBP people from Customs Border Protection have been here, going to be here for interviews, and also the Global Entry Program that we can just talk.
So Michael and I have been working together with the CBP, Customs and Border Protection officers, and we're lucky enough, and I thank the representatives of TV Asia who have us coming here to the TV Asia studio to do an enrollment for Global Entry. And Michael, when is that scheduled for?
It's on May 30th, around 1 p.m. But the most important thing is that you have to go online, complete the application, pay the filing fee of $100, and Platinum American Express cardholders probably get a rebate from the American Express. So it's a very, very good opportunity for people who want to take advantage of Global Entry and get that particular, I think they get a card also, and also their passport is stamped. So when they come in at the port of entry, they can just get out within 5 minutes.
That's right. You go right to the kiosk. You type
separate
in the
exit,
answers.
not a separate exit. Not
it's a separate,
no lines.
Right. You go directly to the kiosk where there's no line. You fill out the form that you would ordinarily fill out online on the computer. It spits out, the machine, the kiosk, spits out the answers to your questions, and then you take that to the Customs and Border Protection officer. And I think that we actually, when we used it, we beat our luggage downstairs, right?
Exactly.
So it gives you an opportunity to move very swiftly through the airport, which after a 15 to 20 hour flight is
it's
really
a combination it's a combination of immigration and customs also. As you look, we just came in a couple of months ago. Go to kiosk, or you get to print a small paper that you gave, Because the questions also ask you questions about customs, about agriculture products. You say, no, 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 no. Basically, it doesn't take people say, oh, fill up a form online, my God, no. 2-3 minutes, tick, 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 tick.
Right.
You are out in 5 minutes, both immigration customs done.
Correct.
So
it's an excellent opportunity for you if you would like to be enrolled in this program. If you're a green card holder or a U.S. citizen, please go ahead, go online, enroll, and then, of course, send TV Asia an email at the email address below, and they will queue you up for an opportunity to be enrolled here at the TV Asia studio at the end of the month.
Okay, David. Now, you had some other information you wanted to give to our viewers today.
Yes, but I think that what we'll do is we'll take a short break, and then what we'll do is talk about that information.
Very well. Let's take a short break, and we will be back. Welcome back. At this time, we want to talk about a very important subject of how to get a copy of your complete record file from the Immigration Service, and there is a process that is called Freedom of Information Act request. Under that law, people who need to have a copy of their own file can file that application, and they can get all that copies of all the papers, most of the papers. Government does have a right to withhold some of them for classified or investigative or some other purposes. Let David say something, and then I can jump in.
Yeah, Michael, I'm just going to point out to many of our viewers that a lot of times when you would go to an immigration lawyer, our analysis really starts with something that may have occurred in the past for you, but you may not have the paperwork to demonstrate to us what may have happened. So, for example, let's say we have an individual who comes to our office who says, I filed an I-130 or I filed an I-140 before April 30th of 2001. The reason why we might be asking about that is because it's very important for us to know whether or not you have a benefit under what's called 245I. Everyone knows the 245I program. But maybe you don't have a copy of that. So maybe we have to get a copy of that information. So the way that we would do that is we would invoke what's called the Freedom of Information Act. The Freedom of Information Act allows us to submit a document to the USCIS. It's done on a form G689. It's available online. We don't recommend that you fill it out yourself unless you know what you're doing. If you feel comfortable with it, sure, you can do it. But if you don't feel comfortable with it, especially if you're not sure of your status, it does require disclosures about your address and place of residence, things like that. So oftentimes it's better for your lawyer to submit it on your behalf, because then that way you're not giving information to the government about where you might reside. But what we're able to do is within a certain period of time, we're able to get information about your file. What the government will do is send to us copies, and usually it comes on a CD-ROM, of everything that you've ever filed or any interaction you may have had with government officials, CBP, ICE, USCIS. Now, this FOIA request can be done before any of those other administrative agencies. The reason why we're bringing this up now is because there was just recently an important case before the district court in the Northern District of California where a final judgment was issued, an injunction was issued against the government to say that they must produce those documents in the mandatory 20-day period under the law. And that's very important, and it compels the government to react by giving you those documents quickly. And that's what we want to bring to the attention of our viewers.
And the reason that decision is important, we have seen in many cases they take months and months and months. And then everybody is frustrated.
Many years.
Frustrated.
That's right.
Let me give you a couple of good examples of the cases in which I would request for FOIA before we go further. I had some clients who had applied for political asylum, and political asylum was denied. They might have been ordered for deportation. In some cases, we have at least the file number. And we are able to get that information online from the court, whether there is an outstanding order of deportation or something. In some cases, they applied for political asylum and they have no papers at all. The lawyer or the agent or some of the unscrupulous people, oh, he just filed my asylum papers and then he told me it is denied, I have no papers at all.
Right, or the person's gone.
Now he's getting married to a US citizen, he wants to apply. Now I'm concerned. Maybe there is an outstanding order of deportation, then there will be a big problem. So first, before we do anything else, we want to get a copy of all the papers on that and then see what happened in that case. Maybe it was administratively closed, maybe nothing happened, fine, then they are clear. But even then we know that there was some application filed. At the time of interview, the officer may have those papers, some questions may come from that. Because people say something in the political asylum, when he came, where he came, and there is something else we are saying in the I-130 or 485 application.
Right.
People, marriage cases also. Person, again, same kind of situation, person is getting married to a US citizen. But before that, he was once married with somebody, call it a contract marriage or regular marriage or whatever, and that was denied. And he doesn't have any papers. Now, it's a serious question. If he applied before, he never appeared for the interview, or he went for the interview, if they denied the case and that information is, sometimes it happens also that even if we have file number, we go on the line and try to find out and they says nothing on the record. And a couple of cases. But then when we went for the interview, the officer says that your client has a previous deportation order. So where did it come from? I don't know what, they don't care whether line or no line. I have a file here, the officer, he says, I have a file here, he applied, it was a fraud marriage, and then it was denied, and there's a deportation order on that. So it is very, very important in some cases that we make a decision. David just mentioned, when a client comes to me, client comes to David, we sit down, we have that, listen, with the 40 years of experience with me, maybe 20 years or 25 years experience there, we have seen so many of these type of cases, and we are, and most cases I would say, our judgment is almost right. We better wait for few, now this court decision will help. I say we better wait for a few months, but we may be able to speed up the under the court. But I'm saying it's better to wait for a few weeks, let's put it this way, get that file from the immigration service and then proceed further, because you know, very careful. You understand at the time of interview, the officer is going to have all your records. People say, yeah, but I came in a different name, different place in California. How will they know it? You came in and you said you applied for a political asylum, my friend, your fingerprint is on the file. And many times through that fingerprint they have the file, whatever name you used. So it's very, very important.
It is.
Very, very important to do this FOIA before you proceed further.
Absolutely. And another scenario, Michael, like you're giving scenarios about where FOIA is super important, would be, let's say somebody got married many, many years ago and a decision may have been rendered on their case, but we're not sure what that decision says. And if there's a hint of the possibility that the CIS felt that there was some fraud in that case, then you need to make sure that that decision doesn't reference some kind of fraud, because if you try to do another case, you have a permanent bar. So it's really important to go and get that decision and make sure that it doesn't reference the possibility of fraud.
One interesting case, very interesting case on the plus side. I had a client who said I had applied for amnesty in '86, and then I didn't get any communication, nothing happened, so I'm here illegally. I said, okay, let's get the FOIA. We did a FOIA, lo behold, I see the file, his case was approved. He's a permanent resident.
Huh.
But he didn't know that, he never got that notice. First time,
very interesting.
Oh my God, my green card is in your hands. I say, yes, no problem, just apply an I-90 form for having not received the green card.
So again, that for our viewers is a very, very clear sign of how important it is to do a FOIA if you have documents that may have been pending, but you don't know what the outcome of that case was.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, sometimes we do in the pending cases also. Cases that is pending, no decision is made, and we want to do something else, we want to file another application, whatever the situation may be. We believe that it's very important to know